This is the infamous island known as Little St. James or Epstein Island. Nearly every luxury imaginable was present on this 72-acre island. From luxury resorts to private docks, and from libraries to cinemas, everything was available here. Prominent figures from around the world frequently visited this island. But the truth is that, under the guise of parties and vacations, underage children were being inappropriately exploited here. There are reports that some underground tunnels were also built on this very island. It is said that these tunnels were constructed for a specific purpose. Either the island staff used them to move from one place to another so they wouldn't be seen by the guests, or they served as an escape route for these elite guests. Those who suffered because of this den were young girls and their parents. However, upon hearing the names of such powerful people, no one had the courage to go against them, at least not for many years. But then, in March 2005, the veil was lifted from this whole story when a girl named Courtney Wild showed great courage and filed the first report against Jeffrey Epstein at the Palm Beach Police Station in Florida. The evidence gathered by the police, the FBI, and other investigation agencies in this case was hair-raising. The evidence included the names of important personalities, their inappropriate photographs, and flight logs to Epstein Island. All these proofs were presented in court, and these documents are known as the Epstein Files. But the question is, who was Jeffrey Epstein? Where did he get so much money? And how did he succeed in making connections with the most famous people? Besides the secret tunnels on the secret island, what else did the FBI find? And most importantly, when Jeffrey died in such a secure jail, was the malfunction of the CCTV cameras that night a mere coincidence? Or was the hand of some great power behind it? An ordinary math teacher who, before everyone's eyes, became the world's most mysterious wealthy man. Jeffrey Epstein started at the Dalton School in the 1970s, but his real destination was Wall Street. He won the trust of billionaires like Leslie Wexner, the owner of Victoria's Secret, and began managing their money. With millions of dollars in commissions and friendships with the elite class, Epstein built an empire of magnificent mansions from New York to Florida. But behind this glittering world, a dark secret was hidden. Epstein used his power, but he preyed on innocent and underage girls. This is the story of a man who was a billionaire to the world, but, in reality, a horrific criminal. From the largest private mansion in Manhattan to a 500-acre ranch in New Mexico and luxury apartments in Paris, Epstein's royal lifestyle was nothing short of a dream. However, his true empire was the 72-acre island located in the Caribbean, Little St. James, which we also call Epstein Island. To reach here, Epstein used his private jet, which the media dubbed the Lolita Express. But what actually happened on this island? Claims have been made that world-renowned figures were guests on this island, and underage girls were targeted here. Epstein's world included not just money, but also the most powerful faces in the world. Bill Clinton traveled on Epstein's private jet 26 times, including international tour. Donald Trump was also a neighbor and friend of Epstein in the 90s, though they later became enemies. Trump claimed that he always refused to visit Epstein's island. However, the biggest shock hit the British royal family. Prince Andrew was accused of abusing 17-year-old Virginia Giuffre at Epstein's behest. That famous photo of Virginia with Prince Andrew went viral across the world. As a result, Prince Andrew had to step down from his royal duties, pay a $16 million settlement, and in October 2025, his title of prince was also stripped away. From Bill Gates to Hollywood stars, everyone was in Epstein's social circle. The FBI found heaps of CDs and photos at Epstein's home, leading to the horrific suspicion that he was blackmailing these powerful people. Although the law has not found a client list to this day, these connections remains a tangled mystery for the world. The exposure of Epstein's crimes first began in 2005, when a girl from Florida named Courtney Wild showed courage and gave a statement against Epstein to the Palm Beach police. The police investigation shook the world. It was discovered that Epstein was preying on not one or two, but dozens of underage girls. And from here began the greatest mockery in the world's judicial history. In 2008, when Epstein should have gone to jail for life, a secret deal was prepared. U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta and Epstein's expensive lawyers worked together to keep the victims in the dark and crafted a compromise that saved Epstein. As a result, Epstein was sentenced to only 18 months, and surprisingly, he received VIP treatment even in jail. He would work in his office all day, and only returned to jail at night to sleep. After just 13 months, he was completely free. This deal not only saved Epstein, but also his powerful associates, whose names remain suppressed in the Epstein files. However, Epstein made a mistake here. His arrogance and overconfidence led to his downfall. To save himself, Epstein flaunted his connections with powerful people. But the media caught on, and the story of the deal leaked worldwide. He believed that the power of money could buy off the victims, those girls. But this was his greatest misunderstanding. After Courtney Wild took a stand, many other girls gained courage and stood up against Epstein. They began challenging the 2008 deal in court. In July 2009, one of Epstein's victims, Virginia Giuffre, filed a civil lawsuit alleging that Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell forced her into sexual misconduct with famous people. It is important to note that Ghislaine Maxwell was Epstein's girlfriend and played a major role in this crime. Her job was to recruit innocent underage girls. She would hire girls outside schools under the pretext of jobs by luring them with money. After 2010, reports began to emerge about how Epstein had bought his sentence in Florida. In 2011, the Daily Mail published an interview with Giuffre that mentioned Prince Andrew, marking the beginning of the prince's troubles. Then in 2015, the American media also began questioning why Epstein received such leniency. After years of silence, a major revelation occurred in 2018. Journalist Julie K. Brown exposed in her report, "Perversion of Justice: How the System Colluded to Save a Criminal." This report set America ablaze, leading to the rearrest of Jeffrey Epstein on July 6, 2019. This time, no secret deal worked. The court refused him bail, and at this point, the world's powerful people were afraid that Epstein would now, one by one, the names will be revealed. But before the trial could even begin, news came that shook the world. On the morning of August 10, 2019, Epstein's body was found in New York's most secure prison. The official report stated that he committed suicide, but the reality was very strange. That night, the prison cameras were malfunctioning. The guards had fallen asleep, and Epstein had been suddenly removed from the suicide watch list. Now a single slogan began to echo in the streets of America: that Epstein did not commit suicide. People believe he was silenced so that the secrets of the world's big names would be buried forever. Although the law called it suicide, it remains one of the world's biggest mysteries today. After Epstein's death, eyes turned toward his closest associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell, the daughter of the famous British media tycoon Robert Maxwell, was known as Epstein's madam. She was the one who helped find, entrap, and train young girls for Epstein. Despite Epstein's passing, the FBI continued its investigation, and on July 2, 2020, Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested from a remote farmhouse in New Hampshire. Jeffrey Epstein escaped punishment through death, but his primary partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, could not escape the grip of the law. In November 2021, heart-wrenching statements from victims in a New York court moved the world to tears. It was revealed that Maxwell was not just an associate, but the mastermind behind this entire trafficking network, who scouted innocent children for Epstein. In June 2022, the court sentenced Maxwell to 20 years in prison. The judge stated clearly, "This is punishment for cruelty against children." Maxwell is currently serving her sentence in a Florida prison. After Epstein's death, a fund for victims was created from his wealth, through which more than $121 million has been distributed to over 150 survivors so far. Epstein is dead, but his files set world politics ablaze in 2025. The process of making the Epstein files public, which began in January 2024, took a new turn in January 2025 upon Donald Trump becoming president again. Trump had promised during his campaign that he would release the Epstein files. The result was that in February 2025, the court, Pam Bondi, claimed that the client list was sitting on her desk. But when the first phase was released, the public called it a joke because there was nothing new in it. However, the real explosion happened in November 2025. Both major political parties in America joined together to pass the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which gave the government a deadline of December 19, 2025, to release the files. In December 2025, some of Ghislaine Maxwell's emails were made public in which she was using code names. That codename was the Invisible Man. Investigation proved that this was none other than Prince Andrew. who was searching for girls while hiding behind that code name. In 20,000 pages of emails, an old claim by Epstein surfaced, stating that Trump already knew about the girls. The White House called this an Epstein lie, but new records proved that Trump had traveled on Epstein's jet many more times than previously known. When the December 19, 2025 deadline passed, 30,000 pages of new data were released. But even now, more than 1 million pages remain. A battle is ongoing between the court and the government. Some people want to bring the truth forward, while some are still hiding behind victim privacy to protect big names. Today, Jeffrey Epstein is no longer in this world, but the shadow of his crimes still looms over the world's most powerful people. Prince Andrew has lost his honor and status. Ghislaine Maxwell is behind prison bars, and billionaires around the world are still offering explanations for their friendship with Epstein. This journey, which began in 2005 with the quiet voice of a young girl, has today become the world's largest corruption scandal. The most famous and controversial structure found on Epstein Island was a blue and white temple. Nothing illegal was found inside this temple, but the existence of a temple-like structure on such an island raises many questions. When the FBI raided the island in 2019, the most frequently asked question was whether secret tunnels existed beneath the island. They found some underground utilities and tunnels, but their purpose was not clear to anyone. However, it is confirmed that underground structures existed on the island. Additionally, unique statues were found in various places on the island, and CCTV cameras were found installed at every corner. Were these cameras for security or for blackmailing? This question remains to this day. Is alive a helipad with a strange face painted on it? If viewed in satellite images, there is a resort surrounded by palm trees, which is connected to the helipad and a private dock. During the raid, some unusual medicines were also found. Among these, hormonal medicines raised the most questions. It is not confirmed what their purpose was, but the presence of hormonal medicines on a normally private island raises many questions. If Epstein were alive, the veil would have been lifted from all these secrets. This was perhaps the reason why he was forced to commit suicide, and maybe that is why everyone's eyes are fixed on the Epstein files. The Epstein files will open further, new names will be unmasked, and perhaps some new faces will see the path to prison. Jeffrey Epstein's story tells us that money and power can hide a crime, but cannot erase it. Nature's stick is indeed silent, but when it strikes, even the tallest towers of arrogance crumble into the dust.